It gives me great pleasure to share with you a very important public announcement. Having members of our business community, our faith leaders here, all the stakeholders that we have in this city, I think shows that we're all in this together and shows the type of collaboration that we've had in this city and we will continue to have to make our community better. I stand here to make an announcement about our interim police chief. But I want to start by thanking Acting Chief John Hall for his leadership and for that of his family as well, stepping up over the last couple months to lead this department and step out of his role to run the department day to day. I think Chief Hall has done phenomenally well in some tough circumstances with some challenges, not any fault of his own. But we appreciate not only what he has done for MPD, but we appreciate what he has done in the community. And he has kept us apprised of things. He's kept us on the forefront. And so we're really, really grateful for his professionalism and the way that he has come about leading in, again, what is a challenging time in the acting position. So I want to start there, but now I want to inform the community that we have decided to name as interim chief of police James Jim Graybois. He is currently senior compliance specialist with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Previously, he was the chief of police at Alabama State University from 2012 to 2019, where he also established and led the university's Violence Against Women program. Before his tenure at ASU, he was a 20-year veteran of the Montgomery Police Department, where he held several leadership positions within MPD's patrol, juvenile, and community-oriented policing divisions, receiving both the Medal of Valor and the Medal of Merit. Chief Graybois, a native of Providence, Rhode Island, is a graduate of the Citadel. He'll begin his duties on July 15th, 2024. With that, Chief, I want to turn it over to you for any comments you may have.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I see a lot of faces out there that I'm very familiar with. I've missed y'all. Montgomery's a wonderful town. I love this town. I love the police department. The men and the women there, ever since I first started, have done everything they could to sacrifice and work for the welfare of the people of the city. They are a part of the city. They are a part of this community. And so I'm really humbled and honored to be here to accept this. I vow I'm going to do everything within my power and everything within my ability to leave no stone unturned, to marshal every resource available to go after these offenders, to go after people who want to make you unsafe, and to create community partnerships to have us work together. Chief Hall remarked recently, it's not the police department and the community or the community, it's the police department is a part of the community. And so I'm going to be reaching out to people. I know I officially start on the 15th, but there's going to be times I'm going to be talking to folks, trying to really get to see you again and hear what you have to say, because if we marshal all of our resources and we pull together, we can make this city into whatever it is we want it to be. Because any of these problems, whether crime is up or whether it's down, one crime is too many, and any of these problems, they affect all of our neighborhoods. This is not a partisan issue. It's not an us or them issue. It's an all of us issue. We have people in this community who come from out of town because they work here and make their livings here. We have people in this community, businesses in this community. We have people who live here, churches, schools. All of us are going to need to do our part and pull together. And so it's just with that, I humbly say thank you, sir.
Anytime that you're looking for smart people and people who are subject matter experts, you talk to those who've been in the space. Doesn't matter if it's technology, doesn't matter if it's manufacturing, if it's healthcare, if it's education. when it comes to public safety, it's the same. And so over the last couple of months, as we conducted a search, we had several names that came to us. And not only was Chief Grayboys one of them, but also was former Mobile Public Safety Director and former Police Chief Lawrence Batiste IV. When we think about the work that he has done, not only as a Public Safety Director, but as a Police Chief, as a member of the Sheriff's Department, serving the city of Pritchard, serving the city of Mobile and Mobile County, he comes with distinction. He comes with a level of statewide respect and national respect as well for his leadership capabilities and for the type of person that he is, one of character, one of transparency, one of integrity, and one who really is about improving the community. One of the things that both Chief Batiste and Chief Grayboys mentioned to me over the last several weeks in separate conversations was the attention on juveniles and how we could address policing and how we could address serving through public safety better by reaching young people at the very first signs of trouble. That's very important for me, because for us, we know that being proactive in this approach is how we improve circumstances and situations far beyond public safety. This is not about trying to wrest our way out of this. I want to be very clear about that. This is about making sure that we have the best methods and mechanisms, processes in place to be proactive and dissuade those who may be on the margins, but also recognize what their challenges may be so we can get them on the right track. And Director Batiste has done that over his career. And so in our conversation, when you're trying to find different ways to address an issue, why just have one voice? Why just have one person? Why not try to have the best and brightest in the room? One with an internal view, one who has served in Montgomery, one who knows his community, but also one with an external view. One who can advise the mayor, one who can give some outside feedback and thoughts about strategy, around recruiting, around operations, around implementation, community policing, and partnerships. Those that maybe we have not utilized, those that maybe we have not perfected. And so throughout this process over the last several months, I was really encouraged by what I heard from those in Mobile, those with the city of Mobile, those in Mobile County, but also those here in Montgomery, those law enforcement leaders who spoke very highly of Director Batiste and their experiences with him. And so he will be coming on as an advisor to the mayor to give all of us some things to consider, all of us some things to strategize on from a macro perspective. And I don't think we could get anyone better than Chief Batiste, as I go back and forth between director and chief. He's held both titles, but we certainly appreciate what he will bring to the table. And at this time, I want to make sure that he can address the public as well.
Good morning. First of all, let me say thank you to the mayor, to the council, to Chief Grayboys and Chief Hall, and to the men and women of Montgomery Police Department. It is indeed an honor to have the opportunity to come serve in this city in the capacity that I've been asked to serve in. I don't bring with me a silver bullet, but what I do bring with me is the wisdom and the understanding of knowing that the men and women that are part of your team are your greatest assets, and you have to make sure that they are engaged and part of the process, and as well as getting them engaged, is engaging the community, working to develop and improve our trust within the community and our trust within our department. And so again, to be brief, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to come to this community and have an opportunity to serve and to try to make it and improve upon where we are. Thank you.
Just as a final point before we open it up for any questions from members of the press, our search for a permanent police chief continues. We have a search firm that is assisting us in that. They will be in this community in the upcoming weeks to talk to community leaders about those things that are important here on the ground and to really look at things from an external and internal standpoint as to what makes the best fit. Anytime that you're leading teams and organizations, it's important that not only you have a person that sounds great in an interview or presents very well even to the community, but one that can bring about fit and one that can bring about the type of results that we're all looking for regardless of department. And I think that given where we stand right now, we've got great brain trust, one that's behind me, those that are working within MPD as well, our county officials at the sheriff's office, also at the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, as well as our federal partners. So I'm very sure that we have the type of leadership that's needed. We even have a 28-year veteran of the FBI now leading our Inspector General's office. So we have what's needed to come up with some of the problems, come up with some of the solutions to the problems that we now have. What we're going to need with all of this is going to be community engagement. We're going to need community collaboration. We're going to need all of those things from our community to assist us to improve where things are right now in our city. We all want them to be better. We all want to be safer. We all want to feel more confident in our day-to-day actions. So we want all of you to know that we have not assembled this type of brain trust from law enforcement, from the federal side to the state side to the local side, just to sit back and allow things to be the way they were. They are here to provide ideas and innovative approaches that may be different, that may be new, so that we can have different results and different outcomes. And that's what we'll be doing moving forward as we continue the search for a permanent police chief. But I want to be very clear and reiterate this point. It takes everybody. It's not just on our men and women in blue who do a great, great job. It's not just our men and women Montgomery Fire and Rescue who do a great job, or even Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, or any of the other law enforcement agencies. It takes everybody being engaged, being involved, and willing to assist us in addressing some of these problems. So we'll look for ways to collaborate. We'll look for ways to find common ground to address not only things that ail this community, but also things that we believe are at a higher level, at the state and federal level, around laws and policies that will assist our law enforcement professionals around this city and around this community. We'll call on all of those leaders as well to come up with ideas and approaches that we can all agree on to make this a safer and better community for each and every person. So with that said, I want to thank all of you for coming out. I also want to thank all of our command staff, those that are here, and we know that we have many others who could not make it under the short time frame, but we look forward to addressing you as well. At this time, we'll open up for any questions. Yes, sir. Hold on, he had his hand up first, I'm sorry, Scott, and I'll come right to you.
It's not a weight. First of all, the public, we are the public, we're part of the public. So the thing is that whenever a relationship has been damaged, then it's up to communication to open up. I'll flat out tell you, I am going to reach my hands out to anybody who wants to talk to me. Because if I'll go to public meetings, I'll go to community groups, because I want to hear what all of you have to say. Every neighborhood, every church, I want to hear what you have to say, because I care about it. I care about this agency. I care about this city. This agency is part of this city. This agency is not separate from it. So I think the key thing is that when communication breaks down, then sooner or later somebody has to reach out an olive branch. And an olive branch is not heavy. What's heavy is maybe when you have to take responsibility. But the thing about it is that's something I'm going to gladly do, because we want to hear what you have to say. I want to communicate with you because I want to do everything within my power to know what's going on so I can come up with solutions and I can direct forces and resources towards problems that they are arising. So that's not a wait at all. I want to talk to people. Yes.
Hold on, one second, Melanie. We have one question over here first, and I'll come right to you.
Well, first, the first step of transparency is talking. It is communication. It is me actually saying, well, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I intend to do. Now, to be honest, there are some aspects of law enforcement that I'm going to have to say I can't talk about because you cannot jeopardize an investigation sometimes, even though you want to say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. There are things like I've been privy to that I cannot reveal because at the end of the day, it might negatively impact an investigation that would allow us to take a dangerous felon off the streets. But after that is done, you know, it's very easy to be able to come out and say, well, we just did X, Y, and Z, and basically we are going to take these steps in the future. So I'm going to be transparent. I mean, if you want to know my motivation for being here, I'll flat out tell you it's not for myself. I'm only here for one reason. I'm here for the city, I'm here for the police department, for all the people in the city, and I'm here for the police officers in that police department. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm really proud to be with this city administration. My words don't even express how honored I feel to be a part of this right now. So I hope that answers your question a little bit.
You had one question over
Yeah. Alabama State is a wonderful institution. I spent 8 years there. And it is a mini city within a city, but it's in the heart of Montgomery. I mean, basically, everything in Montgomery passes through that campus. And everybody on that campus has relationships with everybody in the city. So the things I learned there in community, involvement, in even marshaling resources, in pulling a community together, I intend to bring to the table here. At the same time, I want to reach out to ASU too, because y'all are a wonderful resource and a wonderful part of this town. So I'd say everything. That experience definitely helped me for going forward.
Hold on one second. We had a hand up here first, and I'll come right to you. It's okay, you can't see.
That's always possible. If anybody was injured or anybody is involved, I definitely want them to come forward. And what I want them to think about, if there's somebody who has any knowledge about any of it, come forward, because if you live in that neighborhood, if you know who's going out there, and let's say, I'm going to use a colloquialism, if you know who's going out there and committing the mess, and you keep your mouth shut, how long is it before they commit a mess that's going to hit somebody that you love or care about? How long, because you know as well as I do, if somebody is acting in a criminal manner, how long is it before they turn their sights or their poor attitudes and activities, how soon is it before they injure somebody you care about? A father of yours, a mother of yours, a brother or sister? So if you know something, call us. Let us act on it, because you might be saving them from getting in worse trouble, and you might be saving somebody from getting actually hurt.
Let me just say this, and I've said this before. I don't think it's good practice for us to release numbers. Here's what I'll tell you. We're not where we want to be. So I can assure you that in our conversations with Director-in-Chief Batiste as well as Chief Grayboys, recruitment and retainment was one of the top issues that we discussed. Even in talking with Acting Chief Hall, he's already made some changes to our recruiting to expand the net in terms of how wide we go and how far we go to recruit, as well as some other additional partnerships that we believe probably were untapped, not maximized enough to make sure that we get those numbers. One of the things that we certainly were appreciative of with Director Batiste was under his time in Mobile, they always had a flourishing pipeline coming into the academy, and he has some great ideas about that, as does Chief Grayboys. They've also expressed those things to me, but making sure that we get adequate staffing is not an overnight issue. That's not anything that any police chief is going to change. Again, I just came from Kansas City with the United States Conference of Mayors on a gun violence panel with the mayor of Kansas City, my friend Quentin Lucas, as well as their police chief. They are significantly short in the Metro Police Department in Kansas City, Missouri. ATF agents and those from the White House also spoke about the shortage of law enforcement professionals across this country. So what we're seeing here is not just germane to Montgomery, it's not even Alabama. It really is something national that we're all trying to get our arms wrapped around. And I want to just commend Chief Hall for working with Sheriff Cunningham on some initiatives to help us with staffing. I want to commend Aaliyah as well for providing some supplemental assistance as well. And so all those things are working hand in glove to make sure our law enforcement community, regardless of which agency, are working together to make this community safer. Yes. Yeah, Chief Hall, any updates you want to share at this time?
At this time, everything's still under investigation.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, let me address it, and I'll turn it over to Chief Grayboys on that. We've had great, collaboration from not only just those in Montgomery County, but Prattville, Autauga County, Elmore, Macon County, Bullock Lowndes. We've had great collaboration from all the law enforcement agencies in this community. When Chief Hall has asked, they have been very, very responsive, been very effective in assisting us. And I think what you see across the law enforcement community is that connectivity of one helping the other and making sure that, again, we all are working to get the bad guys off the streets so the good people can go about their daily lives. And that's what we want to continue to do. And we'll continue to make sure that happens. I will say this about Chief Grayboys before I let him address this as well. His post with ACGIS and auditing police departments across the state, in particular in West Alabama, I think will be an advantage for us, because that has allowed him to see exactly what's happening at a statewide level, what practices have been working, what things we may need to tweak a little bit, and what things we may need to throw out altogether. So being in that post, I think, has allowed him to kind of take that viewpoint, as is that of Chief Batiste. Working in our juvenile space, I think, is very, very important for us. And it's an area that maybe we haven't prioritized enough. We'll be talking to the council about that, and when it comes to budget season, maybe how we reallocate some resources toward that juvenile division, as well as working with the Department of Youth Services. So we want to make sure, again, that when we see those first signs of young people, and not all of our criminals are young. I want to emphasize that. I want to cast a blanket on just young people. But when we see those signs of them getting started, we have to be more proactive. We have to have an acute solution to that. And I think that's what, again, I've gotten in my conversations with them, and I think that's the approach that they all bring. So I'll turn over to Chief Grayboys again to answer that question that you just had, and Director Batiste, if you'd like to weigh in on that as well. Chief.
interagency cooperation is key to solving these crimes because, of course, criminals don't have borders. They do not. They might live in Prattville and come down here, or they might live in Montgomery, go up to Prattville. So, of course, we have to share information with other agencies. Fortunately, in this area, one thing that has been very good has been communication between agencies. Now, of course, it can always be improved. And that's one of the first things I'm going to be doing is reaching out to all of the neighboring agencies and talking to them to see where we need to improve and what we need to do to make things more effective. Because there are so many things related to technology that can also tie us together and tie our resources together. So what you're asking about really is it's not even a question of if, it's a question of we're just going to do it. It would be crazy not to have good communications open with these other agencies and talk to them. In my time at Montgomery, in my time at ASU, in my time at ALEA, interagency communications was always key towards basically solving crimes and basically key towards keeping people safe and being effective. So we are definitely going to be doing that. We're doing it now.
I guess the only thing that I would add to that is, no matter where you are, if you don't have the ability to collaborate with those agencies in and around you, you do yourself a disservice. Chief Grayboy said, the community that we live in does not have a border that prevents other people from other communities from entering within our borders. So we have to make sure that we work with them so that the criminals that are coming from the neighboring community, we know who they are. We can identify who they are, and we can partner with them not only to get them off our streets, but to get them off their streets as well. So that collaboration takes place. And one of the other questions that came up is about, from my perspective, is this: as we build our capacity here in the city, we have to make sure that we create relationships, not when there's a crisis occurring, because too often we wait until when the crisis occurs, and now we want to sit down and talk, and there's a spirit of untrust or distrust amongst the two parties involved. We have to develop those relationships so when the crisis comes, there's a trust that's already exists, and we can work together to address those concerns. And the last piece of that would be this, is when you create relationships like that, you can also be honest with one another. And sometimes you have to say things that the other side might not like, but you ought to be able to say it in a safe space so that everybody understands that in order for us to move forward, we all have to be willing to accept the truth of the matter and to be able to address the concerns that come before us. Thank you.
Yes. He's not the public safety director. He's the advisor to the mayor. That's okay.
Is there any specifics that you can talk about for your plan for the first 30 days while you're
See.
Well, my first 30 days are actually technically going to start on the 15th of July. But I'm going to be hitting the ground running when I leave this office or leave this room right now. So my plans are literally communication. I know I've probably said that word so many times, but it really is key because I want to talk to people and I want to really get a feel for what's going on and see everything that I can see, so that way you can see what works and go with that, or you strengthen what works. What doesn't work and needs to be jettisoned. So basically, I would say in the beginning, what I'm going to be doing is, well, auditing. I'm going to be basically trying to find out everything I need to know so I can do what needs to be done going forward. At the same time, you immediately look at what immediately needs to be done, because you have to start thinking both strategically and tactically. Strategic is when you're making plans for the future. Strategic is when you're really going forward and thinking long term. And those types of plans sometimes take a long time to put together. But then there's the tactical, where I'm going to be thinking about what do I need to do immediately. And a lot of that's going to happen. I'll have information from meeting with people in the community and meeting with the police department.
For me, it's observation and relationship building.
Yes, sir. Chief Batiste will start advising me as soon as we're done here today. That's as a consulting position. All right. Well, listen, thank you all so much for coming out. I really appreciate all the work that you do. We'll be talking with you. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you.